Working with text. Okay, so we've talked about some commands. We spent a lot of time with grep because grep is by a significant margin the most useful. There's a whole bunch of other utilities. So cat takes your file, turns it into standard input or standard output. Grep and egrep search for lines. But there's other utilities. Trough. Trough swaps characters. Sed runs regular expressions on a stream. So it just runs. So grep used a regular expression to find stuff. Sed will use regular expressions to change stuff. Awk. Okay, so grep was for lines. Awk, like awkward dangling, is for columns. And we'll use some of these and briefly. Awk actually has its own entire programming language built in, but in its most basic form, it's a column manipulator. Here's some other useful ones. We talked about word count, sort. We can also sort things. And it's a little bit of a computer science trick, but the first step to uniquing something, to counting unique, is to sort something. So sort is also really great for uniquing things. Although there's more, which is for looking before you leave. We'll cover that one next. And these, we already talked about the little arrow thing. Xarg is a very bizarre command. We'll cover at the end. What it does is it takes standard output, and then whatever command you give Xargs the name of another program, it'll run that program for everything that comes out of standard output. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, it's much better to play with. Okay, so let's look at some of these in action. So Trough. Okay, so we got the McDuff stuff. We pass that to Trough. Trough takes two little things in quotes. I have no idea why you'd want to do this, but it changes MacDuff to MacDuff. So every time it saw a capital M, it changes to a capital N. And you can chain this together endlessly. Changed all my n's to lowercase n's to lowercase v's to capital N's. Now behold becomes mehold. So by MacDuff. I don't know why you'd ever need to do that. That might be useful. I end up using Trough surprisingly often. I can't think of any concrete use cases right now. I'll use it. Oh, I know when I'll use it. You don't have to use it on letters. You can use it on spaces. That might be useful. You want to see the spaces. You can also use it for, there's special characters, like a tab is \T. So if I want to convert all the tabs to spaces or all the spaces to tabs, I can use this to do that. Okay, so Trough. Trough is just for swapping characters. It doesn't seem like it's useful, but at some point, some problem will come up where you want to use it. Oh, you can. Oh, I know a way. This works. We take regular expressions. There we go. We get a regular expression, take capital A through capital Z, and turn it to lowercase a through Z. We lowercase our entire play. That looks kind of like Walswick. I wonder what happens if we do this. I had no idea what happened. We tried it, and what it did is it took the first 10 letters of the alphabet and swapped them out for 0 through 9, and then brackets for some of the other stuff. Whatever. That's very strange. Okay, so that's for doing letter manipulations. What else do we have? We have Trough, we have Sed. Sed stands for Stream Editor. So what Sed does is Sed runs regular expressions to change stuff. This is where regular expressions get a little bit more powerful. So I can never remember how Sed works because we use it so rarely. Sed. It's okay, I have more power here.
All the cables.
Everything except the videos after. Wake up, you. Oh, well, let's just do it like that. Sed, okay, Subscript. Sed, ELAN-I extension-E script. Okay, because sed is, of course, like all these tools are like, we're using them in tiny little cases where we're passing like 6 characters. You can actually, like, they actually have their own whole language. This is mostly talking about, you don't really care. I have internet. Let's go look up sed on the internet. Because sed is a very complex one. And I always forget the simple use cases. So I end up going to the Wikipedia page for it all the time. I have the memory of a goldfish. Come on, internet, you can do it, little dinosaur. Show me some. The moment I will look back up the internet. I will look it up on my phone. Sed. Okay. Sed, history sed, operation usage. I'm going to take a regular expression of this. Okay. Sed. So, grep Macduff. So sed is a little bit like, again, in its most basic form, is a little bit like, so remember the simplest regular expression is just a word. Use a string replacement. Okay, so what happened here is, let me give this more, see if that. Okay, so the command is on the left. Not very well. Okay, so I actually got this up here. So you can see it on the screen. What's happening here is what sed does. Ignoring this last one, is there's a special way to write regular expressions that do search and replace. So sed just runs the regular expression on whatever the standard input is and spits it out in a standard output. So the command we just ran, what it did is it said stands for search. And you can just basically kind of have to memorize those. S and then a slash, search for this regular expression, slash, replace it with this stuff. And by default, it'll only do it once. But we want to do it every time. Slash global. And so like the S slash stuff slash G, it's just something to use over and over again for sed. And we can do more sophisticated regular expressions here.
You're showing half your entry.
Yeah, we're gonna have. There we go. So, A through Z, which is pretty much the same thing. Mac-rar. So we changed any letter and then duff to rar. That's kind of the basic operation of sed. There's more sophisticated stuff you can do that involves more sophisticated regular expressions. But don't chew up stuff. Okay, so, awk is our column manipulator. We had a tabular command, right? The way awk works, you pipe stuff into it, and it has another ugly syntax. So the way awk works is awk takes a little tiny program that has single quotes, then curly braces, then the word print, then a $sign, and then a number for the column number. And you can do a lot more with awk. You can actually build grep in awk. Like it actually has a much more sophisticated language, but the reason I included it is because it's the easiest way to parse out columns. For example, on our little ls-al command, let's say we only wanted the file names for some reason. Or we only wanted the username. That's me. That's the 1, 2, the third column. So if I do that, I get the usernames. Or if I only want the file sizes, column 5. If I want the file sizes in pretty mode. And I know it's a really awkward, ugly syntax. I just included it here because it's much harder to do that with any other tool. And it comes up all the time when you're dealing with tabular text. And sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly how it's counting the columns. Oh, we can do some other stuff too. So it uses spaces, consecutive spaces and tabs to do columns. So we can use cat Othello, and we use Trough to replace, first let's grep for stage instructions. Trough the spaces to then we can use awk, and then ridiculous chain of stuff. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but it gets the first word in each stage instruction. For example, that's the case of like using grep to find lines, using trough to prepare lines so that you can awk them. Ridiculous chain. That's the case where you might use awk. Where were we? Slides. Word count, we already talked about. Sort. Sorts is really cool. Sort will sort lines. It just sorted every line of Othello. Lexicographically. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
So if someone had, in Othello, one person might start speaking for 5 minutes, and that's each and every line. So would sort essentially give every line and tag it to a person?
Not necessarily. Sort's not that smart. So sort is just going through, because like some of these lines are all up to the top. Nice. It's taking everything. Oh, we can use more to do that. There's another command that I haven't covered yet called more.
So mine, it sorts everything alphabetically. Like for what mine did, it sorted everything by the first word of each sentence, so it has.
Was the sort's behaving a little different? It's ignoring the white space?
It's tag tag. I did a cat Othello and piped it in and hit sort, then it sorted everything by alphabetically.
Yep, that's what it's trying to do. We ended up with a different